long weekend. Who's looking forward to it? Who has earned this long weekend? Hands up, everyone. I'm just going to turn off the air conditioning. All right. I don't know how much of that you can hear in the background, but I think it's quieter. Hey, Adam, how's it going? Okay, so who is excited? Anyone have big plans for this weekend? I feel like my big plans are staying home. Ideally, we might get to a beach, maybe, but just most importantly, resting up. So that is my biggest priority this weekend. Let me see. See, the lighting's always better like this, but I have all my stuff here, so I don't know what to say. So couple fun things to catch up on. Today's Friday, May 27th, and the month is wrapping up. I feel like we had at least I had a really pretty eventful month. I don't know about you guys watching on the replay or watching right now. This month has been pretty full for me. How has your month been? So lots happened. I had these sort of big goals. Actually, give me 1 sec. I'm just going to make sure. Disturbing anyone. Do you mind if I close this so I don't disturb you? I'm going to disturb you. Okay. All good. Yay, Anthony. Hello, hello. How are you? Glad you are here. Hooray. I was debating whether or not to stream because I know it's Friday and I would, if I didn't need to be near a computer, I wouldn't be. But figured I would catch you guys up because as the title says, here are my wins for the week, really for the month, because I feel like after all of the work and all the things that happened, I got sick this month, actually twice. It's not been pretty. It's not been a pretty month health-wise. I am well, Anthony. I am well on the way to recovery, for sure. It's not been a pretty month health-wise, but just taking those small incremental actions, right? I don't know what it was this month that just kind of convinced me that I wanted to take action, continue taking action in the areas where I had. So I'm going to share some of my best wins with you guys, but to set the stage. Yay, I know, exciting. To set the stage, so I'm flipping back in my planner. You guys know I use this Sprouted planner, and I love it so much. My favorite planner of all time. So I look back on what happened to kind of get an idea, some perspective about everything that's gone on this month. There are these sections for reflection at the end of each month, and I fill in the answers to these questions. So the questions are just helpful kind of guides, right? Review your calendar from the month. What stands out as memorable? What were your intentions for the month? Did you live them out? What are you proud of? What did you struggle with? What growth following a hardship are you experiencing in your life? Life keeps going even when your world may be torn apart. If you could magically stop time, what would you do with it? These are the questions in the back. At the end of the month. And then what are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you looking forward to? What are you feeling challenged or worried by? And the interesting thing about that question, what are you feeling challenged or worried by, is that I've noticed that things that I feel challenged by, usually 9 times out of 10, aren't that challenging a couple months down the road. I'm like, oh, I was worried about that, and it wasn't that big a deal. So I found that my worries tend to gain perspective with time. So that is a very valuable lesson that I've just learned from writing them out in this planner. So looking at the month, kind of reflecting on the month, things that I have. So this month's intentions, number one was an all cash month, was to not use my credit cards at all. I had been using them and then paying them off for the points, but I hadn't been paying them off because I'd been spending more than I was making. And I wanted to nip that in the bud this month, which is something that I did. So, well, let me say it's the 27th and there's still 3 more days, and depending on how kind of the paycheck cycle falls, I may, and because I may rent a car to go to the beach, I may put that on credit card temporarily, but for 90% of the month, I was able to use all cash, so that's a huge win. Business income goal, $600, did not meet that, sadly. But I do have some other wins to talk about. Reducing credit card debt, I did do that. So that's huge. And how I did that, kind of, I was looking back over it. I had a few really big boosts. So I cashed out an old savings account and I got a tax refund. So that covered, I would say 59% of the debt. And then an additional 10% of the debt was through savings and just intentional spending, watching my spending. So positive, I would say positives and negatives, but I would say again, 59% through the tax refunds and the savings account, and then 10% through saving and intentional, no extra spending or minimal extra spending. So that was a huge win as well, was paying down that debt. So currently I only have about 3,000 left to go of the 9,600 that I had. So that's a huge bonus, or huge win, I think. Um, so some challenges. I have one more win. I'll just talk about that now. So I had applied to, I don't know if you guys had, if you've been following my journey, the Impact Radius platform was something that I wanted to gain entrance to, and I had been rejected because I just wasn't paying attention when I applied, and I left out some information, and the instructions in the rejection notice said to create a new profile. And I'm like, I don't really want to create a whole new profile. Can I just modify this one? So it had gotten me kind of down because I thought, oh, do I really need to create a whole new profile? I thought, you know what, take action, because affiliate income is one of the ways that I am planning to increase my income, because I have friends who are in the same industry I am who are making tremendous amount of money via affiliates. So I'm like, get my act together and just get this done. So this is the month I did, and I just opened a ticket on the site and said, hey, can I just update my existing account? Here's what I left out, addressing those issues. And it took about a week and a half of going back and forth. Thank goodness someone was there on the ticket system, and it was being addressed. It was being looked into. So it took a week to get, I got like automated replies, and then I got a notice that my ticket had been forwarded to the membership team. And I thought, great. And then about 3 days later, I got a notice from an actual person saying, hey, we're looking for this. This website hasn't been updated. My website hadn't been updated since November. And we don't see any links to your socials. And I'm like, okay, let me do that now. So as soon as I got a reply, it was a woman, she introduced herself as Celeste. I'm like, fantastic. So I mentioned that in earlier streams. As soon as I got that reply, I thought, let me get on this now. Let me reply before the end of the day, which I actually did. This was on, let me check my calendar. I want to say Wednesday. Yes. Yeah, it was Wednesday. So that day I did everything she said. I added social buttons to my website. You'll see them at the bottom. And I added a new entry, which, because I hadn't updated since November of 2021, I just hadn't been feeling it. I was like, well, let me show her that I'm on it. She's like, how do you intend to drive additional traffic to your website? So most of my traffic is from my YouTube channel. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add these things to my website. I'll add an entry, and I'll plan to update once a week. Excuse me, on my website, which I can do. I can do that. I know other people who are paying their bills through blogging. I'm like, okay. So I did that on Wednesday, and I got that all done by Wednesday. And it took a little bit longer than 8 hours. It took for me to actually sit down and get the work done. Once I sat down and got it done, it took about half an hour, say 45 minutes, to write and format the entry and make sure it was all SEO optimized and whatnot. I was out of practice, so it took a little bit longer, but once I got into it, it was done. So that was a huge win. So I replied at about, it was like 11 o'clock at night. I was like, hey, this is what I've done. This is what I plan to do. Please let me know if I can do anything else. And she replied right away, like in the hour at 11 o'clock. I was like, maybe she's on the West Coast. Um, Great that, this is great. Please, we need to confirm domain ownership. So please put the phrase high impact on your website and your YouTube channel. Done. Did that right away within the hour as well. And then she replied later that night at like 12:30, saying, congrats, welcome. You've been accepted into the impact marketplace. So that was a huge win. And this happened on Wednesday night. So I'll tell you what else happened on Wednesday night was I got really bad food poisoning. So I think my husband and I both got food poisoning. We had different things from the same restaurant, and it broke my heart because it was a Korean restaurant, and I had really wanted this to be. It was my first Grubhub order. I really wanted to love this restaurant because I had been craving Korean food like something mad. So it was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. But the thing that ended up doing me in was a spicy beef stew, and I was hurling at like 3 o'clock in the morning, throwing up spicy beef. And I don't know if you've ever thrown up meat before, but it is the absolute worst thing. I was just miserable. And I had this meal at like 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and I was throwing it up at 3 a.m. in the morning. It was a miserable experience. So in the middle of this, like I just got the acceptance, and then I'm like hurling. It was not pleasant, and this was on Wednesday into Thursday. So it was a win followed by a not pleasant time health-wise. So and then I was just recovering from all of that yesterday, Thursday. Not pleasant at all. So sad. I was so sad about it. And then my husband had kind of unpleasant effects as well. So for both of us, just so sad. But that doesn't diminish the win. I'm very excited to now use that impact membership. So that for sure was I would say that's my biggest win for the month, was being accepted to that platform, because there are all sorts of brands that I want to work with that use that platform. So fantastic. Yeah, so those are my two biggest wins: reducing the debt and the impact acceptance. And I'm really proud of both of them. And I would say this month was probably the month that I worked the hardest and the most consistently. So something else that has kind of come up for me. So let me know if you have any wins. If you're watching in the live stream or you're watching live, let me know what your wins for this month have been. I think it's really exciting to reflect on that. Something that I've been learning about myself as I go through this process of singularly focusing on increasing my income is that I don't know where this comes from. Sometimes I'll have a hard time sticking with things until I see results. So what's easy for me is being consistent and being tenacious. But for some reason, doing things that would be easy money, like setting up affiliates, for some reason is not something that comes naturally to me. I really have to think about it, and it's almost like I'm overcoming a blockage in that. And I know that it's a money block. So I really plan to do some work on that so that I can I want to do some internal work on that so I can just act easier, because sometimes I won't do things and I think, why did I not do that? Like, why did I not do that really simple thing that would have yielded me easy money? So I find that's kind of some food for thought, but that's just something that I realized this week, specifically as I did let's say the easy thing. Like the impact thing was not difficult at all. It was tedious and no, it wasn't even time consuming. It was tedious. Like, just do it. So once I get into something, it's the messy middle. It takes me a while to kind of keep pushing through. And I know 100% that that's what I'm facing for sure. It's the messy middle. That's what I'm feeling as I'm sort of talking this out. I'm like, that's what it is. It's the messy middle. And I just tend to leave it and not complete it. And I think it's helpful. So ways to combat that. one of those things where if I talk it out, I'm like, oh, that's obviously what I should do. But in the middle of it, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Hello. So clearly, what I can do is break it down, right? So if I want to make more money, what I have to do is put more pathways in to make that money. How do I do that? By setting up, and one of the ways I do that is by setting up this impact account, and there are different steps in applying to that. It's just the next step. So there you go. So just viewing the entire journey to making more money as just more steps in the process. And that's it. And I know that I can get there, say slowly but surely, but there you go. Okay. So those are my two biggest wins for the month. What are my plans for June? That's actually something I want to think about before I roll through my May reflection. So for June, there's no reason not to continue with my all cash spending, right? My all cash month. I've seen that there are some expenses that I put on the credit card that need to be transferred to my business account, which I've done. I did for my Canva. I have an Adobe subscription, and I have my Spotify and my Google Drive. So it's 4 more that I need to transfer over to my business account so that they're all kind of cleanly coming from there. So it's just business transfer. I'm going to write that under my week to-dos. Transfer Adobe, Spotify, Google, and Canva I already transferred to my business checking account, which is through Nova, which uses Impact Radius for affiliate traffic. Because that's something I need to do. So I want to, in June, continue with all cash. So let me put that down. All cash. Excellent. Okay. So my business income, again, I did about $300. AdSense was $200 because I had a payment from 2 months ago. So if I put for my business income goal $600, and I hit, again, I hit about half of it. I don't know if I should even bother doing that. Definitely want to reduce my credit card debt. So right now it's 2880. Let's see what the balance is. 288 plus 199. Could I do that math in my head? 1 8 4 8. Oh, 1. Oh, 8. I'm trying to do math. I'm trying to just add 2 numbers together. Harder than it looks. Oh, 4 0 8 0. Yeah. 4080. Ugh. Sick. No, that's not right. 3080. What's wrong with me? Anyone else find that? Like trying to do math manually? What in the world? 288 241 plus 1990. Oh, 1 4 1. I'm adding 2 very simple numbers together. 308141. Don't have time for no math mistakes. 308147. A month. Balance equals 141, 308, 141. Okay, I can do that. I can bring that down. Even if it's just by $1,000, that's something, right? Oh, God. Okay, I can do this. Oh, hello, Matt's Gambling Slots. Good to see you. Good morning, good afternoon. It is afternoon here. Morning on the West Coast still. Whew, how was your week? How's it going? I feel like I should almost go longer so people give people time to get the notification. But yeah, so we're talking about wins for the month, and then plans for next month. So my two big plans for next month are to continue with all cash and to reduce my credit card debt. Starting balance for this month is 3081. Starting balance for last month was 9627. So been real bit. Oh yeah, I hear you, Matt, on the busy part. Thankfully today's a little bit quieter at work, which is wonderful. So I'm trying to catch up on some personal things, which is always exciting. Look at this garbage. Tomorrow I am going to back to Jersey to hang out with my mom for a little bit. I treated her to a Mother's Day. I had a Mother's Day present, and I'm going to give her that. It was a service, salon service. So I'm going with her to get that today or tomorrow, which is exciting. So for my third goal, I'm like, do I want to put a business goal in there? Because I haven't been able to hit it, but I've hit halfway there. So yes, I do want to put it in there. Aim for the moon, you'll land among the stars. So I do want to put some kind of a business goal in there. What if I say earn $500 business? Earn $500. Goal. Equals $500. Yeah. All right. Business income goal is 500. Last month it was 600 and I earned 300. Going to reduce it just a bit and work harder. How about that? That's all I'm going to do. Okay. That's all there is to it. Alrighty, dudes. What do we got? Ooh. Okay. Here's the quote I have for next week. This is from JP Getty. My formula for success is rise early, work late, and strike oil. JP Getty, obviously one of the big oil barons of the early 20th century. Okay, so I'm going to sit here and do my month reflection in my planner and then plan out, get to some tactical planning, plan what brands I'm going to apply for on impact, what I'm going to do next. All right, how my June is going to go. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy, stay safe, and I will catch you later. Bye.